Okay, testing mic. Cool. Gonna get started. All right. Been some time since I've tried to stream this to YouTube as well. All right, see how this goes. So this is going to be a basic camera solve, and the fun part about it is that our foreground completely disappears out of the shot. So how do we deal with that? I'll tell you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and I'm gonna be tracking this for a little bit. So this is going to be pretty slow up front. Thankfully, this shot is not a very complex one to track. I'd imagine it's not going to take too long. But hopefully, I am still 26 by the time I finish tracking this. Oh, it's so smooth to track too. That is very good. Probably going to track all those in between branches as well. Just for distortion reasons. Yeah, this is going pretty quick. I don't think this is going to take too long. I don't think the solve is going to take long either. It's so clean. I actually wonder if this is working. I hope it's working. I should check the streams real quick. Okay, one's gone. Cool. Awesome. And what about YouTube? Hey, look at that. YouTube's going as well. Good. Oh, the rolling shutter on this is not pretty, but not a problem. All right, let's get some stuff going. Midway down this massive trees. That one slid a little bit at the end. Just gonna place a key, get rid of it. Hey, there's a white little highlight. Good. One right beside it. Awesome. Now we're going to get up here. So many highlights. Oh, that one slid a little bit. Careful with motion blur. Ooh, that one's not coming back the way that I thought it would. Oh, I have to manually fix it. I should rename... Nah, I won't rename that. I should also say that this is technically a fake point, except there's so little parallax in it that it really doesn't matter. And I say a fake point when lines intersect, like these trees are lines, and then you've got the detail intersecting, the corners that are being formed by intersecting lines. They are lies. All lies. But in this case, there is not enough parallax for those intersecting lines to matter. Ooh, let's get something down by the water. Nice. Let's get this. Good. Stop that one. More. That one lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's start populating the far background over here. Keep in mind the motion blur is stretching out this corner. So that's why it looks like I'm going back inwards into the corner itself, but that is because it is stretched out. Also, I think this is more on the corner than it was before. Yeah, a little bit. I might go back and fix that. The tracker's not the best. But I'm also just messing around. Just wanted to try and see if I still remembered how to stream on YouTube as well. This isn't really anything serious. Good. Got that. Oh, what house was that? Oh, was that this little house? Oh, it was. Cool. It is not there for very long. Sad. Let's go ahead and get this here. Just points that are easy to find when they return on screen. Oops. It's kind of nice. There is a decent amount of parallax between that island and the background. I didn't think I moved that far with the camera. That'll help us pull a little bit of data out of the background, although it will not help us very much. But it's something. I'm going to get 2 points right beside each other. There are people who tell you not to do this. Don't listen to them. Those points shut off at the same time. That is not a good thing. I'm going to turn one a few frames off beforehand. Synthesize likes to smooth your trackers, smooth their weighting as they go off screen. So it's best not to have multiple trackers shut off at the same time, because then the whole influence of your solve will have a funny motion. Funny motion. Okay, let's start getting a little path here going. So I'm going to put a tracker here. I wish I could offset this point like in 3D, where I can move this target box. That'd be so great. It's tracking pretty well, though. This is awesome. I did not expect this. Ah! Making me do some work at the last stretch, huh, Synthesize? It's how you want to play it. Okay, let me just drag this manually for a couple frames, and then we're out of the woods. Ooh, how did that pop? Didn't expect the water to disturb the tracker as much as it is. There's a little pop there. Not a big one, but it's there. So close. Looks like I'm tracking the flipper of a land dolphin. What would a land dolphin even look like? Strange creature that I should hopefully have the fortune of not coming across. Oh, on this side, it's going with no grief. Oh, but alas, it died. All trackers have their time. Oops, open up the texture panel. Didn't need that. So when his head kind of stabilizes here, I'm going to bring in a tracker. This one I'm probably going to animate its weight to turn up gradually. When it turns on, I want it to start at a weighting of 0 and then animate it to go up. Because his head's moving, I don't want... This point is going to solve with a funny 3D point position. So it has potential to jerk the camera a little bit when it comes into play. So you're better off by starting the weighting to nothing and then animating it to slowly go up. So its influence comes in softly. Good? Okay. And just to kind of, in case these points don't get a good foreground, get good foreground data, I'm going to try and trick Synthesize into looking at a couple points in the water, treating it as if it is solid ground. Whoa, I had a screen wrap issue. Thought I only got that at work. Oh, come on. Don't give me that. And cool. This point is going to be low weighted. I'm going to drop it down by half, 0.5. I just want something there to kind of help the foreground a little bit, but I don't want that to influence the scene greatly because, hey, water moves. Water is not your friend if you're tracking. Anything moving is not your friend when you're tracking. So Let's see what happens if I do a quick solve. I want to see what this does. So I'm going to pick a couple of starting frames. So beginning and end right here. If you don't know, beginning and end, you basically, when your camera triangulates a solve, when it does an initial solve off of 2 frames, and then it goes and builds out the rest of your shot. Those 2 frames need to be at a couple angles, kind of like your left and right eye. Your left, that how you have depth perception. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. Kind of treat A and B as 2 cameras that have a good amount of distance from one another to see depth, to give Synthai some depth perception. Kind of the easiest way I could put it. So I'm going to go from here and somewhere around here before the water point goes away. And I have these 2 points. That's all in frame. And now, let's do a quick solve. So go. Good. Okay, so let's back this up, see what we got. Hey, it's kind of doing a thing. And of course the foreground, you lose the foreground completely when its points are gone. And that will be a hopefully easy fix in a second. Yes, I had A and W. Judge me all you want. All right. So how do I want to do that? First, I should get distortion to just see if this will solve any distortion. See, the thing with distortion is if you don't have a good solve and you don't have reliable 3D point positions, you're not really going to get an accurate distortion. I could get a distortion off of nodal out of this. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to temporarily 0.8 any point that may have some kind of parallax that includes this stuff in the background. I'm going to try and just get distortion just off of this island, and if I have to, I'll track a few more points on it. Nodal cameras can give you a really good solve for distortion. So let's swap this to tripod. Did I 0.8 these already? No, I didn't. 0.8, there we go. Okay, and I'm going to go. Nice. And it looks like we have a distortion. And that, for my camera, this looks kind of reasonable. Also, my focal length is 15. My camera is 8mm to 24, 8mm to 24. And I did have this zoomed in partially. That 15 seems right to me. Actually, that doesn't seem right to me because I don't have the backplate set. So this, if you don't have this set, you do not have an accurate focal length. I have a preset. You can Google your camera and you type in whatever camera, sensor size, backplate, film back, whatever you want. And then type in whatever you find into here. I have a preset for Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K. And okay, what did that give me? 12? That still sounds very reasonable. All right. Now that I have this, now that I have that, now that I have this distortion, I'm going to turn off calculate. And I'm going to keep this value here now and see how it goes for the main camera. So I'm going to go back to automatic. I'm going to select all points, Control A. And in trackers, I'm just going to turn off 0.8 for all the points. Let's go to solver. Our beginning and end are there. Let's go slow but sure. Why not? I find it doesn't really do much, honestly, but hey, every little bit counts. So hit go. So that didn't seem to solve. Why is that? Let's see if I bump around one of these. There aren't... Oh, I know why. So this didn't solve because when you go into tripod mode, all your trackers are placed into far mode. So far is not highlighted blue. I have no clue why it doesn't highlight blue. Everything else highlights blue except for this stuff. I'm gonna Control A, select all the points, and turn off. I'm gonna click far. There's that question mark. When I click it, there, question mark gone. They are all free solving 3D points now. So let's go. Hey, did you look at that solve error? I don't remember what we had before because I didn't look. But this looks pretty decent to me. Okay, or as far, decent as far as I'm gonna get out of Synthesize in terms of distortion and rolling shutter. Okay, so I have a free move. Now I kind of want to orient the scene, clean it up a little bit, and I want to do that first because having the scene oriented is going to help me do make my path extend out once he goes off frame. So I'm gonna need to clean things up just slightly. And yeah. So man, things keep creaking in my apartment. I swear I have ghosts. Ah, so many ghosts. Hate ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts. Okay, so let's see. But wouldn't ghosts be cool? Oh my god. A little scary, because then you absolutely know for sure that there's something after. Oh. Okay. My place is so quiet right now. It's very creepy. Let's see. Okay, so orienting this. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a 6-foot man. I think this guy's 6 feet. I am tall. This guy's tall, not as tall as me. Sorry, Rob. And let's go. I'm gonna go into 3D. Come over to Earthling. Place down a dude. And I'm going to scale that. This is just a scale I tend to go with. It's a common scale in the industry. I'm going to make him 200. Well, I mean, I'm going to make him 200 centimeters tall. So this whole, oops. So now I want to move my camera a bit, but when I move it, it takes our guy for a ride. So I'm going to right click, go 3D, whole effects mesh is off, and we are laughing. So now I can move the camera around. And if you're familiar with Maya, Houdini, or whatever, W, E, and R will change your translate, rotate, scale. So I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to go scale the camera right up. Scale it up until those 3 points that I tracked on him show up. And I'm going to, let's see, level him out a bit. What's his head point? The head point's obviously that top point, I guess. I'm going to need some more points on him. This is going to be a fun little test to build out some geo, but I am going to have to fix this a little bit here soon. Let's make our boy about that tall. And I'm going to hit 4 on my keyboard, just regular 4, not F4. Huh? Oh, there we go. And lock to camera. Now let's do a quick level of that horizon. So rotate, let's go to the front view. Also, if your rotate's going too fast, hold Control on your keyboard and it will become very fine. Now tilt it on the back of his head, bring that line down. I'm not going to bring it right down to that water line, but that is basically the horizon line. I'm going to bring it just slightly up because the horizon line is going to be a lot further than that water and you are not level to the water. This is just a rough guess, like really rough. You could totally put the horizon line on that water plane if you want, but it is not exactly the horizon. That is not far enough to be the horizon. Let's see. Now, I can't see my ground plane. Oh, there it is. So small. So I'm going to go solver, world size, drag the world size right up so I can see the grid. I'm going to make this grid face the island. So whole. Let's point it out there. There we go. Also, my horizon moved, didn't it? Did I mess that up? Oh no, it was. I know. Never mind. I didn't mess with the horizon. For some reason, I thought, oh, it looks a little high. No, I put it up there because I didn't want to, you know. Okay. Enough pleasantries. So giving this a watch. Goofy. So silly. Okay. So this guy, I don't know how big this stuff out here is, but I want to make a little guess of a person's height. I just want to see how far back these points are and see if it feels reasonable. Script, I'm going to duplicate our mesh. W on my keyboard to change to translate. And we're going to drag our boy back. You know, I'm okay with that. What point's what? Okay, great. I was really hoping this point was going to solve correctly in the foreground of the island. I honestly did not have that level of faith in Synthesize. Yeah, in Synthesize, sorry. Go away, ghosts. The creaking is so strange. Okay, so hole. And so now that I have kind of where that guy is. Creepy. Alright, so now that I kind of know where that guy should be, I'm going to take and expand out my world size just so I can see his geo. And it looks like we are going to drop this horizon line down to the water because, hey, I guess it is far enough. I guess that water edge is far enough to represent our horizon because it looks like that this guy wants to drop down a little bit. So let's just level out the horizon to the water plane. So we'll bring it down. Ooh. Again, rotate your scene. If your rotation is going a bit too fast for you, hold control on your keyboard. What is that creaking? The creaking's creepy, man. All right. I might have to go check my upstairs here soon. Okay, so our guy is lifted up a little bit. Or, sorry, he's lowered down a little bit. And what we're going to do with that information is I'm going to make a plane. Where's our guy? Lost him already. Ah, he's right there. Cool. I'm going to make a big plane. And we're going to up the subdivisions because the geometry is being called out in the viewport. Yeah, I kind of figured that wasn't going to be enough. Let's add some more. 50-50? Sure. Okay, so now that we have this, I'm going to start I'm going to lock some of these points so that I can start solving this, but I want to keep the position of this island, and I also want to keep the position of my foreground dude here. So I'm going to take these points and I'm going to lock them where they are. Wow, the depth of that island is so off. Let's take a couple of these points. I'm actually going to drag them in. So using this plus and minus, I'm going to pull them towards the camera. These locks are not really changing much position in the camera view. Actually, they're not changing position at all in the camera view. And now I'm going to change these 2 points to lock. And now, when I solve with constrain on, these points are now going to be forced to come into this position right here. And that's also going to help correct some of the space for these other points. And now, let's see, I want the island point, I want him. And let's see, I want these 2 points here. Oh wow, this point is so far back. Yeah, this point should be way over here, close to our dude. In fact, that point should be as well. So let's go tracker, plus minus. Let's drag this all the way forward. Let's hide the mesh in this view for a second. So let's bring it around there. And this point, we'll also drag this ahead a little bit. Really, with the size of this island, I know that this should be closer, so I'm just gonna force this. And we might see it. We might see it's a terrible guess, but I know this island is not that big. Let's bring it in just a bit more. I feel like bringing in this one more now. There we go. Okay, so these 2 points, I think I already locked, but I'm going to select all of these and just go lock. Okay, and now our foreground. I'm going to take these two. The water. I'm going to leave the water. I'm going to leave the water there. So I'm going to do the. I don't really want to move these points anywhere. I want to keep them where they are. So I'm just going to tap plus and then minus just to kind of move them and bring them back, because now they have. Because now the reason I did that is because now it has position data. Before, all these trackers, they don't have any data to lock. And as far as I know, there isn't really a button here that could just put the data in there. So I just kind of move it with that if I want them to lock in a position. You know, this water point, that is actually really bad. I'm going to level that out to the water. This is probably going to cause a catastrophe for the shot. I will have to turn the weighting off for my guy here. This is a problem. But let's just see what it does. It's going to be so stupid. Lock. Also, did I lock these? Yeah, I did. No, I didn't lock them. All right, so let's turn on constrain. And I'm just going to go into refine. If you're wondering what refine mode is, refine mode lets you work with these axis locks much more efficiently. You can use these locks with automatic, but it's easier and it's smoother with refine mode. Also, refine skips your initial solve, so it always builds off of what you have and doesn't restart your solve from scratch. So it is faster. So if I go, haha, yeah, there's problems. I took away a lot of Synthesize's freedom. It's kind of funny though, because look at the solve error, 0.7. That's pretty good, except we lost half of our points because Synthesize didn't know what to do with them after I caused such mayhem. So let's see what our biggest error is. Of course it was going to be this one. We tracked water. Honestly, I could do without that point. I'm going to leave it for now. So here, now that things are kind of locked and staying in a position, I'm going to see if I can put down a couple more points on him. So I'm going to go P image prep. Should we turn up the gamma? Yeah, gamma looks cool. And I'm going to go filtering, turn up noise reduce to like 1. Any higher and it's kind of useless. At least I think so. I could throw a filter on this, but I don't think I need to. Just wait for that to cache for 1 moment. What kind of time do we need? How long is the streaming going? Not long. I don't think so. 37 minutes. Nice. Hopefully I'll be done quite soon. All right, so just a couple more points onto our bro. Actually, where does he move from? Yeah, let's just track him the whole way through. Clean. I like it. Let's get this little white speck off this dirty jacket. Your jacket is disgusting, sir. Lol. That's my jacket. I am this slob with a lot of cat hair and lint on my jacket. I don't even have a cat. It's hair from other cats. Other people's cats. Oh man, I don't get to enjoy cats unless I go to another person's house. There's a sad life. My landlord will not allow cats in my place, which is funny because the building allows pets. There's 2 cats that are coming outside and eating my plants. My plants. They're eating the plants on my patio. Now the plants are dead. I think they might have been the ones kicking up dirt out of the flower pots. Ah, terrible. Cats are evil. All right, so I'm going to solve this, see what it does. Nice. And hey, look at our points in the back. They solve kind of flat. And I'm kind of scared about these. These points should be a lot further back in the scene. So these points here that I've constrained, I'm going to take these and I'm going to lower their weight because I don't like what my forced weights are doing to the shot. Like I said, I've taken away Synthesize Freedom. This is a shot where you can't typically solve 100%. And for reason I say 100% distortion or focal because you can't get one without the other. And if you don't have data like a LiDAR scan or map data that you can even, if I had map data, I can even, which I do, I could get it. You could pin down buildings and stuff. You could pin down the trees and the rocks and stuff. And little island here, this little curvature in the island, you can track these and you can pin those on a map and get their spatial distance perfectly. I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. Not today. So this track here, this solve is just us free solving and just BSing it a lot. So these 2 points, I'm going to drop their weighting down to 0.3. Oh, some points moved a little bit, not much. Let's put that weighting all the way down to 0.1. It's probably not going to make a difference at all. Actually, how low can I go? 0.1? Yeah, it didn't really make much difference. Yeah, well, it's not super important, honestly. Oh, that scared me. Hello, Calsu62. I didn't know I was still getting notifications from Twitch. I assume that's Twitch. That scared me more than you'd know. Or more than it appears. I'm just not showing the fear. Kinda jump started my heart. Okay, so now the hard part. Now when the camera does this, we have no foreground. So everything else, I think I'm kind of happy with now at this point. There will be a little bit of a path smooth at the beginning. Path smooth will introduce error into your solve, but that's kind of fine. Synthesize. Synthesize, when you solve a camera, your camera path is always very jittery, and that is Synthesize just enjoying its freedom. It is because your trackers are, getting a little pixel jitter and stuff going on, and that is affecting the camera motion. Your camera is doing. Hold on, I can just look at the camera. So you can see, ooh. So you see this going on. The camera path is all right here at the beginning. It isn't really all right. That's a surprisingly smooth camera. And then it goes bye. Goodbye. Anyway, when you smooth the camera, you're taking away Synthesize's freedom. So your error will go up slightly. My error isn't the best right now, but again, this shot is a handheld. This is a handheld shot off of a Blackmagic camera. I'm not going to get a perfect solve on this because there's rolling shutter, and if I want the points at a depth that I'm comfortable with, I'm taking away Synthesize freedom to do whatever it wants. Because rolling shutter and stuff will affect the distance of your trackers. Because when your footage warps them down, it can sometimes trick your camera into thinking that your camera is doing these subtle motions that it actually isn't. And that can affect the spacing of your points, giving them funny little depths, which isn't good. So, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and blast out a path here and just kind of imagine what it might look like. I actually should extend this as much as I can. What you should do is, even if you have a person that's moving or some subject that you wouldn't normally track, just try your best to track it and pull whatever data you can out of the foreground. Be desperate. So we'll get this for a few frames. It is still visible. No waste. No waste. And we are looking happy. And his head's starting to move here, so I'm just going to go back a little ways actually and turn it off. So if you can, try to get 2 points lasting as long as you can. Oh, which there is. Good. Because it takes 2 points to pin your camera down at a depth. 1 point, you don't have another point to help stabilize where your camera is. So I thought I was going to have to track another point on the bottom of his lens, but here you can see the collar is visible. So I'm going to hit go. Got a little pop here. So this pop is due to this tracker going off screen. This is a tracker I've never really trusted. This is one that I said I was going to animate the weight to. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to make it so that when a tracker comes on, you could see the weight's pulling. That's because his head's moving around. It's a solve. It's a moving object in what should be a rigid camera solve. So I'm going to smooth it a bit by turning its weight off right here. And I'm going to go ahead a bit, turn its weight up back to 1. I'm going to go ahead a little bit. And I'm going to key it at 1 again. Now let's go to its frame where it's off, go to 0. And you'll notice I turned it to 0 on a frame where the tracker isn't even active. That's fine, because this frame here has this 0.1 whatever. If I made this one 0.0, then it's no weighting. This one's going to be 0.1. It doesn't like it's. I got us an extra frame. It's hard to explain. I've never tried to explain this little thing. That's such a weird little detail for me to try to describe. But you can pull an extra little frame out by just placing that key on the last part of the track where it's disabled. Okay, so this tracker, let's look at the pop. So you can see its little pop that it does. Actually, it's stabilizing the glasses. There, we can see the pop a little bit better. So when I solve, well, I thought that would go down a lot easier, but it hasn't. So let's try transition frames. I'm going to turn this up to 5. Interesting. Oh, it's not that bad, actually. No, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Sorry, I'm tricking myself. The pop is not as prominent as it was before. All right. So I'm going to leave that part as it is. And now I'm going to come ahead here. Actually, we're going to make a matrix now because I need to see the space that I'm working in. So I'm going to make a matrix. And a matrix is a very handy little utility. So when I drag one out, I can't see how tall that is. I didn't make it tall enough. I like it when it's uniform squares. There we go, good enough. So if I rewind, that's pretty bad. Now we can see the matrix showing us what the air is doing. Does not compute. So we want to stabilize this foreground even though we don't have foreground to track. So how do we do that? Okay. So this part's gonna be a little fun to explain. This is not a fun part. This is not a fun thing to teach for people who don't know Synthesize. So if I go F7, sorry, it opened up on my other screen. So this is our graph editor in Synthesize. I'm going to collapse the active trackers, and here we have camera and objects. I'm going to open it up, look at camera, and I'm going to look at not velocity. That's kind of a tool to help fix sudden spikes in your movement. Like if I looked at that, this is the average speed of your camera, and then you can see the average speed goes up once the camera starts jittering around because its speed is now going haywire. I don't need to see that right now, but that's a good kind of debug tool. So I'm going to close that. Solve path. This is the actual animation of your camera. So I'm going to go I'm going to turn off this colors down here. I don't need to see that right now. I'm going to turn off everything and just reveal the path. So here we can see where things start to go crazy. We lose those 2 points. The path starts going nuts right here. And then the rest of the camera is like, what is even that? And it looks pretty bad. So to fix this, what we's gonna do is, first off, I'm actually just gonna blast the whole end of the shot out. So I'm gonna get rid of that, get rid of this, and now we are left with this. We have the rotation, and we'll have to resolve for the rotation later once we've messed with this path a little bit. All right, so now that I've gotten rid of that path, if I double click the hands again, expand it out, there, now I got a better look at the path. So here's what I'm gonna do. This might be very fast, and this part is also gonna come down to how you vision the camera to move after it has left his foreground. So let me just visualize this real quick, because I'm gonna pick when the camera comes to a halt, but it's gotta come to a halt very calmly. So I'd imagine right about here, maybe around 1150 is when the camera's gonna slow. Just for dramatic effect, let's slow it down somewhere around 1190. So it's gonna move, it's gonna keep moving, it's slowing down and stop. Okay, so it's gonna slow down here. I'm gonna go back into the graph editor and take a look. And I'm going to just quad view this. So we could see here that the camera pushing forward is on the Z axis, and you can see we lose our path. That is nonsense. So this is just going to be me playing around. I'm going to imagine the camera maybe, actually, sorry. Wait, let me watch this real quick. I'm going to imagine where the camera is at its current trajectory. Oh God, I can't speak. I'm so tired. So I'm going to watch it, and it stops, keeps going, and slows down somewhere here, right around here. So I'm going to take this camera, pull it ahead. Let's just watch it for a moment. So you can see the camera path is continuing. Let's turn off these radars, because the error, we're not concerned about the error at the moment. Cool, so we have that. I made the path last a lot longer than I thought I was gonna. I'm kind of all right with that. I like the camera, how it looks as it keeps going. So let's do this real quick. So over here, the beginning of the path, I got to do just a little smooth. Not much smooth because my hand is kind of jittering around. So I'm going to go into Solver, Filter, and Control. and X, Y, Z for the path. And I'm going to turn the strength down maybe 0.7. And I'm just going to apply it to all of it. And now this portion here, come on, I just got to remember. Okay, right there. I don't really want to start over smoothing this stuff. So I'm going to animate the strength on this. So I don't really like that. That smooth kind of damaged me a little bit there. Also, I want those glasses to line up there a little bit more. I kind of deleted a bit too much earlier. I could resolve this, but I don't really want to do that. So let's just bring this camera back a little bit if I can, just by hand. There we go. And let's just let this extend itself a little bit. Round out the X curve. Let's look at the Z. Let it ease off a little bit. All right. Okay, let me just take a quick peek, see what these points are doing as they exit the frame. Okay, I'm a little happier with that. My y-axis isn't so great. And the y-axis is kind of small, so I'm going to click hands here. Let's get that Z back. Pull it back a little bit. There, that point down there matches. All right. Now that I have that, I'm going to fix this point right here. Bring that down a bit. Also, let's see our entire path here. I'll first do a little round out on the Y. Okay. I think it's time that I start to do my final smoothing. So I'm going to go to the frame. I want the smooth to be kind of at its full strength, somewhere around here. Where's my filter and control? Ah. So I'm going to make this 1. So there's a key here now. So I'm going to go maybe to the frame where this stuff starts to leave its frame. I'm going to make this 0. And I'm certain there's a key over here left somewhere, probably at the first frame. Yeah, so I'm going to right click and clear that. So now there's no smoothing here. All the smoothing is going to happen at the end, not the beginning. So now I'm going to hit that with a couple smooths. Actually, let's hit that with a bunch of smooths. So give it a quick watch. And hey, it's kind of looking like something now, but now the rotation's messed up. Because, you move the path, you mess with the rotation. So let's fix the rotation now real quick and might be done. Okay. I had to drink my iced tea. All right. Yeah, rotation. Okay. So the camera path, let's say we don't want to touch it anymore. Realistically, if you were doing the shot for a client or something in a studio, you would spend a lot more time making sure your distortion is amazing, your point depths are amazing, and your set and your spatial everything is just amazing. This was fast. This was sloppy. This was done in 57 minutes. Nice. Okay, so let's do the rotation right now. So we're in refine mode, where I said is the place where you want to be adjusting your camera path and smoothing stuff and whatever. So now I'm going to go into axis lock, and this window can scare people. But here is a really fast explanation of what it is. Here's your translation. This is your rotation. If you don't want to resolve your camera path, because we might, let's say we're happy with the path of this camera, we would lock it. And this data here, this is the actual where you want this path, this animated path, to be loaded into. Because this lock doesn't know what you're locking to unless you get this smooth path that you made loaded into the values. So this is your camera path now loaded in, and your lock is locking to this. And so now our camera is not being touched, and it is locked through the whole frame. Be careful, you got to turn this on the first frame, otherwise it's animatable, so you could see it'll turn off and on you. Alright, so I undid that. So our camera's not going to move, constrain is on, refine is on, and we should see the rotation will look awesome in 1 second. Alright, quick watch, moment of truth. Let's also watch this in F3 in the camera perspective, just because it might look prettier. Ooh. I'm sorry, I'm making people wait now. Oh, there's 3 people waiting. That's cool. I'm so sorry. I thought I was going to make this look pretty, but now I'm just kind of dragging it out. Make those points smaller. Now right click, turn off lit wireframes. All right, let's watch. Please work. Oh, it looks awesome. It looks awesome. Okay, that's exciting. Do any of the 3 people watching this have questions? Oh crap, there might have been chat going on. Oh, there was chat. I didn't see the chat. I'm sorry. There was only 2 people. There was only 2 people talking. Sorry, I was using my restream window and my OBS was covering the top because for some reason I was expecting the chat to come up from the bottom. My bad. Akam, are you still here? And Calcis62, how's it going? Oh, I feel bad. Oh, I feel terrible. Okay. Keegan Harris, hello, sir. Thank you for compliments on the solve. It was a fun one. I like fun little solves like this where you kind of lose data, so you got to do some hand animation stuff. Oh, I enjoyed this one. Let's put in a sky dome. Disappointingly, Synthize does not have a sky dome. I wish it just had a half sphere. It does not. So we're gonna go and make a sphere. Scale it right up. And I wish the pivot of the sphere started at the bottom. I get why it doesn't, but I wish the pivot was at the bottom. So I'm going to average it out to the center of the camera. Now invert normals. And let's go into F3 real quick. Orbit, Control F to, orbit. Now Control F, and the scene is so small that I can't even see my sphere. So world size, let's drag that up. Holy crap, the sphere is huge. Oh, I've made a terrible mistake. Synthize, why do you have to have such a silly perspective view? Oh, there we go. All right. I did not need to take the time to clean up this sphere, but I'm gonna now. So 3D view, mesh, lightsaber deletion. Why it's lightsaber, I don't know. Why is it called that? All right, so we have a half sphere. Back to L, lock to camera, and now my scene is a very stupid scale. So shrink that down, come back to scene settings. 100. And this is just stupid. Holy crap, I really made the sphere that big? Seriously? Ah, come on. Okay, well, I'm just going to look at it in this view. This is cool. Let's go view, OpenGL. Thank you, Acom, once again for telling me that that was there. Let me change some colors around. I'm going to make this a vibrant red. In the sky, I'm just going to make it blue. Nice bright blue. And the water, let's make it a dark blue. Nice. Also, let me apply the distortion real quick just to see what it looks like. Ah, so tired. This looks pretty cool. I like it. All right. If nobody has any weird little questions about this, I'm gonna go. I think there's only two people here left. 2 or 3. I don't know. My different windows are telling me different viewer counts. Ah. Okay. Is there anything that I forgot? Let's do our final little save. Oh, something I dread right now. You gotta stabilize, obviously, and check your tracks. Except I just don't have much confidence in this camera track because of shutter reasons. Wow, it's not the worst. Huh. I thought that was going to be really bad. It's actually not terrible. Oh, on this side, it actually works pretty well too. That is a huge relief. I thought that was going to be a wreck. Nice. All right, awesome. Well, I'm going to stop this. Thank you for anybody who stopped by, had a peek, and have a good night or morning.